If you're looking for work, you've got to have a good CV. That's probably the most important thing. So make sure you get yourself a CV. You should have a basic CV, but one that you tailor for every job you apply for. Every employer wants to know you've researched their company and you've tailored your CV to match their needs. Good CV, no more than 2 pages long. Always have a personal profile at the top. The personal profile is that few seconds an employer can read what it is about you that would make them want to employ you. Make sure that they're not a generic personal profile. There's hundreds and hundreds of websites out there that you can use to get tips on how to write a personal profile, but make sure it's specific, it's measurable, an employer can look at it and think, wow, that's what this person is. We always recommend using the National Careers Service website because they have profiles for every single career you can think of, and from that you can then take aspects of those profiles to write your own personal profile on your CV. Make sure that you have a very good digital profile, so if you use Facebook, Twitter, etc., get someone to have a look at it and say, what does that mean to someone else, to an outsider? Your personal Facebook and Twitter page might not be what you'd want an employer to see, so look at your security check-ins, lock down your Facebook if need be. We'd say to you to use digital channels to look for work. Most employers now advertise online, so make sure you're registered with Universal Job Match, maybe Indeed, Monster, other types of search engines. Some employers aren't with the digital age. Some employers are quite happy still to have someone come in and bring a CV into a business. What we'd say is if you're taking CVs around to a business, treat it as if you've got that interview already. So you go in suited, booted with your CV, big smile, very personable, because that's the first person from that company that's going to see you. So if that's the approach you're taking, make sure you're targeted, don't bombard, make sure you keep a diary of where you've been to see companies. So if you've handed a CV in to a local shop, keep a note of it, follow it up in so many weeks' time. Don't just keep going back to the same employers every time. If it's online that you're predominantly looking at, which most people are, again, make sure that you are meeting the requirements of the employer. Nearly every employer now will be quite specific about what qualities they're looking for in a person. So make sure your application, your CV, has those qualities in it if you're able to demonstrate them. Job applications, always make sure you follow the instructions on the application form. Nearly everyone will say what colour pen it has to be written in and whether you have to write in block capitals or not. And employers will sift people out just on those basic 2 things because they'll say if you can't follow those 2 instructions at the top, then you're not the right person for us. So make sure you follow those basic instructions. Never leave a question blank because it's there for a reason. The employer wants to find something out. It could be, why do you want to work for this company? Well, if you leave that blank, that reads all sorts of wrong messages. So make sure you fill in every single question on the application form and make sure you do your research. So if it asks why do you want to work for that particular company, find out a bit about that company. Go on Google, have a search and see what you can find out, and make sure that you do one in rough first so that the final version that goes to the employer looks perfect. Interview techniques is practice, practice, practice. So hundreds of books, hundreds of online seminars, but the best thing to do is sit in front of someone, be it a friend, a parent, a colleague if you're looking at changing jobs, and just go through mock interviews, because the biggest thing that affects all of us at interviews is nerves. So if you can have someone asking you those questions, and when you dry up, you then have some time to reflect, and then you have some stock answers in the background that you can pull out when you need to in an interview situation.